You're gonna get away with sitting back there. It's not gonna happen. You gotta get up here.
The action.
And then get over here. Don't keep going at the end. Okay. All right. Welcome to the Lunenburg Zoning Board of Appeals. Let's see, the case we have here is Daniel and Renee. Yeah, Trachimus.
Trachomus,
It's Greek.
Lithuanian.
Okay, well, there you go. What I'd like to do is, enough of the informalities. Tell you how we run the show. What we do is we take and have the petition read, and you can speak to the petition to why you want to do what you're going to do. You don't have to. You can just let us make the decision based on what you've given to us. And then we open it up to public discussion for or against, and we cut off public discussion. We turn it over to the board, and we'll ask questions as appropriate, and then make a decision one way or the other. So Lisa, would you please?
Yes, this is an application for a special permit for dimensional variation, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9, Zoning Board of Appeals. The name and address of the applicants are Daniel R. and Renee T. Trachomus, 520 Page Street in Lunenburg. The undersigned hereby makes application as follows. They're seeking a special permit for dimensional variation to build a 34 by 25-foot pole shed. The basis for this application for special permit is found in the following section of the Lunenburg zoning bylaw, Section 8321B4. The street address of the property is 520 Page Street in Lunenburg, assesses map 87, parcel 14. The name and address of each holder of legal title to the land, which is the subject of this case, is Daniel R. and Renee T. Trachomus of 520 Page Street in Lunenburg, and the deed is recorded in Worcester Northern District Registry of Deeds, Book 3041, page 13, and recorded August 1st, 1997. The special permit questions are answered as follows. A, this building will not be a hazard or injurious to the public. It will be used for private storage of 2 tractors that are used to maintain the property. B, the structure will replace 2 cover-it-style units that are wrapped in tarps to keep the elements out. C, this building will allow the property owners to keep maintenance equipment safe and out of public sight. D, this is a storage building and it will not be used as a manufacturing site. And it's signed July 21 by Dan and Renee Trachomus. Attached is the field card from the Board of Assessors, a site map, a list of abutters, and there is a land survey done by James E. Gaffney showing the proposed pole shed. I also received a memo from the Board of Health saying that they have no issues with the application.
Okay, thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
With that, if you'd like to speak to what your issue is to convince us that you've got an important need for us to be in the affirmative, that's what you, if you do, you get up and speak. If you want to say anything, if you don't.
I'm good with what Lisa explained.
You're going to get up and talk? It's your call. If you do, you stand up here and give your name and just say what you want. Tell us why you want it.
Good evening. I'm Dan Trachomus.
Thank you.
The purpose of this building is, as it was stated, is to replace 2 existing cover-it buildings. They're in pretty bad shape. Each year we've been chasing them, retarping them, and it's just getting to the point now where we have to make a decision, if we can, to upgrade. The buildings are going to be used, as stated, to store a couple of machines and maintenance equipment. We're told from the survey that we need an additional 9 feet from where our existing cover-it sits toward the road. That's essentially it. The building, if we could do it, would be, a great burden off of our day-to-day chores around the place. Mm-hmm. One less thing that we have to deal with each year. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we open it officially. There's no one here. Well, no, excuse me. We do have someone sitting quietly in the back. Open it to public discussion. Those who are in favor of the applicant, please make themselves known. And here are none of those who are in opposition to it. I hear none. And with that, we cut off public discussion and open it up to the board. Gentlemen.
I guess if you could say a little more about the 9 feet you mentioned. You needed 9 feet more for what? Tell me again.
From where the existing coverets are sitting toward the road in order to give us our 34 feet in length. The building size, the intent is 34 by 25.
Right, I
That's
see
what we're
that.
hoping to do.
Uh-huh.
In this particular area right now, we have 2 coverets sitting there. One's a 24 by 12, and the other is a 20 by 12. And what we're hoping to do is remove those 2 covered buildings and replace those 2 with one structure.
Excuse me.
34 feet long.
Excuse me, I'm not paying attention. You gotta get up in front of this mic if you like.
Oh, I'm
When you
sorry.
ask questions. I fall asleep at the switch.
I do too.
You know, the world's out there anxious to listen to what you're saying.
I can't wait to hear. Where the existing coverets are sitting right now, okay, on the plot plan, if you have that plot plan in front of you, we're requesting an additional 9 feet toward the road to place the 34-foot building, to replace the 2 buildings that we have.
Okay.
You know, as this building is 34 feet by 25 feet.
And those are going to be torn down, and then you would build this one if we...
They would be removed, yeah, they're basically temporary structures.
Uh-huh. Would you describe for me, I'll show my ignorance about this pole shed? What is a pole shed?
I'm not an expert on it either, but I've seen them. My sister-in-law has one on her property. Basically what it is, we're going to be using, with this size building, we're going to be using 12 telephone poles. They're going to be placed, bored into the ground, 4 to 5 feet in depth. Those are going to be the main pillars of the building. And once they're in place, they're going to be line leveled, cut, and there are going to be trusses that are going to be placed
Okay.
from the top of the poles down to create the roof slope.
Yeah.
And then on these main structures, the roof, which in this case will be steel roof, will be placed on top and then sided with rough sawn lumber.
Oh.
It's a very basic structure.
You don't have to put in a concrete basement to put these up, just a pole.
There is,
Yeah.
there is no foundation or anything like that.
What is the height of it?
It's going to be 10 feet, approximately 12 feet at the very front top of the structure, and sloping downward approximately 3 feet in a run of 25 to shed the elements.
It seems, looking at the plot plan, it seems that you mentioned that you're taking down the existing structures and putting this one up. Did you give it any consideration to put it in the back of that shed on the farther side of the lot? Or you have it shows on here a barn and a shed,
Yes,
and this would be between the shed and this new structure would be between the shed and the road.
Correct.
right? Page Street.
correct.
Did you give any consideration to building it in back of the shed?
The back of the shed is a paddock.
Oh, okay.
That shed that you're seeing on the plan right now is a 2-stall horse shed.
I see.
And in that area right there, there is a paddock for those 2 animals.
The reason I asked, I didn't see that today, I was down by there, but I didn't get out because of the rain.
The trailer was probably blocking your view.
The reason I asked the question is that they showed the setback, it would be an 18-foot setback compared to a bylaw requirement for 40 feet, so that's the basis for your request.
In that light, when I visited, I was asked the question where he wants to put the shed to begin to closest to the road that would be necessary for the offset, the special permit to do this, the offset to the road. There was a mobile trailer sitting in there, and I said, well, why can't you just build the shed that you want, put it there and then take that mobile vehicle and put it over here close to the road. So I was convinced in my mind by the applicant that in order to swing that out to move it, you can't, because he's got a centerpiece in the driveway, and he could never move it out. He couldn't get around because of the swing problem. So I was thinking like you, of saying, well, you don't need to put it there. You can build it side by side, because one is here and the other is set back. Bring that forward and build the shed, and you don't need to come to us. But in my mind, it was a convincing argument that where that trailer is to move the animals and so forth couldn't be manipulated. So that was an observation I made.
What's the distance from the proposed to that shed? In other words, we've got some area between what you're proposing in the shed. What is the distance?
From the road?
No,
Between the
back wall of the new pole shed
Yes.
to the existing shed. You see what I'm saying?
From the boundary line?
No,
From building to building.
building to building, right.
From your
Proposed
to
building.
the shed, what's the difference? How much
Back
space?
wall to the shed. This distance right here. Right here, between this and this.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was the width of the building or if that was the distance between the two, the way it's drawn.
I thought it
I
was.
think that
I thought-
25 foot is the width of the
width of
building.
We just went through
Oh,
25 is the width of the building.
Yes.
What's that distance?
yes, that distance is approximately 12, 15 feet. That distance right there is the area that the horse trailer is currently parked in.
That's what you were talking about, Doug.
Yeah.
That was the point that I
The,
made.
So that's where that trailer is.
Right. The reason why the trailer is to be parked there is that so-called turnaround, that obstacle, there is our well, is in that turnaround.
Oh, it is.
Yes. If that well wasn't there, that turnaround, we could have eliminated that, and obviously we could have manipulated the location of this building. But because that well is in that turnaround, and it's surrounded by some large rock to prevent anybody from driving into it, that's kind of why everything has sort of evolved around that.
They made that point to me. I'd forgotten the fact that it was not that it was
Yeah,
a
the well
fancy
is,
thing, that
the
it
well
was
is
rather
tucked
an
into
important
that
obstacle.
small turnaround area.
Any further questions? If there are no further questions, the chair will accept a motion.
Well, my observation was that, that's not exactly a busy street. There's a few cars on it, but down in that area where there's not a lot of traffic, so that assuaged some of my concerns about giving up some of the setback requirement. So I guess hearing what you had to say, that I would make a motion that we grant the dimensional variation.
Make a motion to grant?
Yes.
Okay, second to the motion?
Second.
Further discussion on the motion? Is there any requirement for conditions? Hearing none, we have a motion. Then all those in favor of granting the petition as requested, the special permit, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? Hearing none. With that, the board has granted what you want, but you must sit and listen for a little bit. That when we give a special permit, it's a mandatory reading that I have to do. I do read it. I should be able to do it from memory. I've only been doing it for many years, but I still have to do it. The older I get, the more I have to read it. But in any case, in granting the special permit, the Board of Appeals did assure that the proposed use would not be injurious or dangerous to the public health or unduly hazardous because of traffic congestion, danger of fire or explosion, or other reasons, and that it would not have a material adverse effect on the value of the land and building in the neighborhood or on the amenities thereof, that the operation would be operated with reasonable regard to order and sightliness, and the rest is not necessarily applicable. The special authorization is granted with the contingency that the petitioner comply with all licenses, regulations, statutes, and ordinances of any and all applicable state, local, and federal boards and agencies with jurisdictions over the premises. The granting of the special permit shall inure to the benefit of the applicant. The special permit is subject to periodic review by the granting authority, the zoning board, or the enforcement officer to ensure compliance with the enumerated conditions. There were none in this case, but the building inspector would follow up on the construction of what you're doing. So the next thing that you need to know is that anybody can appeal the decision of this board to Superior Court, so you should be advised, and that's within 20 days after the date is date stamped at the town office. So you should be advised that any action that you take to do what you want to do could be subject to an injunction by someone that might appeal it, so you'd be advised of that. And the last thing you need to do is register with the Registry of Deeds on your deed. And with that, unless I've missed something, we grant you say goodwill to you, good luck.
Thank you.
And thank you. And I did learn how to, next time I get onto a horse, is do not let the horse take the bite in his mouth. I did that one time. The horse took off on me and decided to go the way that he was going. The thing that I forgot was I didn't know, was the old route was changed, and he wanted to go back to the old route, and that was 495 under construction. That was a hell of a ride going up and coming down that one. Okay, I'm done.
You're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Yeah, we got some time to wait. So what do we need to do? We're going to recess for 10 minutes.
John, can we recess for 10 minutes?
Lighten the load.
Why we even have that? That's old.
We're live, Tom.
I think we're ready to go on the air, Lisa.
Okay.
Would everybody join us up front? We're gonna make you get up anyway. No, you can sit down for a while.
Sorry.
But no, you can rest those legs. All right, it's your job.
We got some reading to do first.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
All right.
We're trying to give you a break. Okay. Well, I'd like to say welcome to the Lunenburg Zoning Board of Appeals. You've been here before. Welcome again. This is a case for Kenneth Ricker and Joshua Hillman. And it's a request for special permit for outdoor seating. And the way we do it, if you've forgotten, is we have Lisa read your petition. Then you can speak to it if you should like. We open it for public discussion, those who may be in favor or against. And then we cut off public discussion, and the board deliberates. And with that, Lisa, would you please?
Yes, this is an application for a special permit, Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 40A, Section 9, Zoning Board of Appeals. The name and address of the applicant is Kenneth J. Ricker, Embers Pizzeria, 84 Lakefront Avenue in Lunenburg. The hereby undersigned makes application as follows: for outdoor dining at the location as shown on the plan. Proposed action has not begun for the outdoor seating. The basis for this application for special permit is found in the following section of the Lunenburg zoning bylaw, Section 4631J. The street address of the property is 84 Lakefront Avenue in Lunenburg, assesses map 98, parcel 35. The name and address of each holder of legal title to the land which is the subject of this case is Kenneth Ricker of 86 Hudson Street in Leominster, and Joshua Hillman, 809 Leominster Road in Lunenburg, and the deeds recorded in Worcester Northern District Registry of Deeds, Book 8089, page 83, recorded March 6, 2014. The special permit questions are answered as follows. It will not be injurious or dangerous to the public health. It is an existing concrete patio, and it is off the road and will be blanked out there, and will have a double gate opening. B, the fencing and the furniture will only add value to the property. The concrete patio is already there, so there will be minimum work to be done. C, the outdoor patio is currently equipped with the most recent and top-quality surveillance system. It will be cleaned daily as well as nightly and can be constantly viewed by bar and wait staff due to the oversized windows and doors. D, there will be no noise coming from the patio except people's conversations. None of the condos behind Embers Pizza will be able to see the patrons, and the front wall of Embers Pizza is over 15 feet high. Signed July 21st by Kenneth J. Ricker and Joshua T. Hillman. Attached is a list of abutters, a copy of the lot layout, and a copy of the layout of the seating, and a copy of the deed, Mr. Chairman. And that's all.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa.
Welcome.
Sure show. Speak to your name so the folks at home will know who you are.
Yes, my name is
That
Ken
pretty
Ricker
face.
from Leominster, Mass.
Okay.
I am here today for 84 Lakefront Ave, the former Scooters building, which is now Embers Pizzeria, for the outdoor dining
Now,
plan.
could you speak a little louder?
Sure.
Thank you.
What
Go
else?
ahead.
What else you need to know?
You're not all done, are you?
I'm waiting for questions. Yeah, it's pretty. I think it's pretty self-explanatory what is out there. I apologize for going about it backwards. I wasn't notified by the selectmen of Lunenburg. When I went in front of them for the liquor license that I transferred, I had put in outdoor seating. They weren't sure of it. I was going to withdraw it, but then they voted for it. So then I sent it to Boston with the outdoor drawing, and they were fine with it. I didn't know I had to go through you, so I went out and picked up my license.
The horse before the cart.
Yeah, when I went and
Yeah.
picked up my license, they told me you gotta go in front of the planning board,
Okay.
zoning board, which I had no idea about, because no one had told me.
So you've said what you've got to say, and you're ready for questions.
I am.
Okay. Thank you. You might as well stay there because
I'll just stay here, yeah.
we're on TV and you got to
Sure.
do that. Okay, with that, we open it up to the board for questions.
Mr. Chairman, is there anybody in the
Go
public
ahead.
that wants to talk in favor or against
Pardon?
that? Is there anybody in the audience that wants to talk in favor or against it?
Oh,
Public hearing.
I'm so used to saying the same thing sometimes I forget.
Quite all right.
But we do as we do after after you said your piece, we'll open it up for public discussion for those who may be in favor or in opposition to it. Thank you for reminding me. I slipped that out there. Usually the applicant talks for a longer period of time, and then my mind allows me to remember to do that. So what we do is we're going to open it up for public discussion that may be in favor of your application or against. And with that, we'll ask anybody who's in favor. How you doing? We haven't seen you for a while. Your name, please, the name and address for the
John
public.
Baker, 53 Chase Road, Lunenburg. I've been a resident here for 46 years now, and witnessed over the years a tremendous change on the lakefront. And most recently, Mr. Ricker and Mr. Hillman have purchased the old scooters and done a fantastic job as far as renovations and so forth. And they're largely responsible for changing some of the culture down at the lakefront. As I stated before, I lived here for 46 years, so I've seen a lot of changes. And these gentlemen have done an above-average job in all the ventures that they've been involved in. And I would urge the board to grant this latest request. It's going to do nothing but improve the whole thing down there and so forth. There's a lot of businesses, not only in this community, but others that have gone to this outside seating and so forth, and it's greatly enhanced the business structure and of course, obviously, the bottom line. And these people have done an excellent job with the places that they've owned and developed, and I don't see any reason why they should go forward with this if the board so chooses. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. If there's anybody else that would like to speak in favor, seeing none. Those who would be in opposition, seeing none. With that, we cut off public discussion. Now we open this formally to the board. Gentlemen.
I'll just stop because I think there's some, I gotta clear a few things up in my mind. You say that it's going to be retained on the concrete patio. And the concrete patio that I see is like 8 feet.
No, I think in the drawings that you have, it should say the dimensions, I believe.
It's what?
In the drawings, does it have the dimensions of the patio?
Yeah, it has the dimensions, which is 20 feet, correct?
Correct.
Yet the cement part of the, right attached to the building is
Goes
8
out
feet.
8 feet, yeah.
Which means you're going out 12
An additional
feet further,
12, yeah.
which is where you have a couple of parking spots.
3.
Correct.
I want to take out those 3 parking spots.
Take those out. I guess my question is, I haven't seen I've seen a plot plan, but that's not part of the road area?
Well, when I had,
That area and put the parking in?
no, that was there when I bought the building.
Okay, do you know who did that?
That was there for a long time, no. Following the lot lines of the street, the way it goes with the Whalem's new development, with the new berm they put in
Yeah,
at the
I
end of the
saw that,
lawn.
yeah.
And I had Chief Marino there a few weeks ago. And following that berm straight up, and where On the Rocks is, in lining On the Rocks, 96 Lakefront Ave, with scooters and with that berm, it goes out about 26 feet, I believe. So what we're trying to do is bring that out 20 feet, so there'll be 6 feet from where the berm goes, inward is where the patio would stop. So it'll be 6 feet off the berm of the road. And then we're gonna fence that in, and in those fences, Chief Marino would like to see the concrete pylons that go every 6 or 8 feet in case a car ever veered off the road or something.
Well, that
like
was my concern too. when I
Yeah.
looked at it. I measured it, seemed like maybe about 24, not 26. But
Yeah.
I guess that's not, And, I was just curious as to who really owns that piece of property you're not, encroaching on. And I know there's also the road, but there's also the road taking.
Yes,
Which extends,
Yep.
further than the actual pavement.
absolutely.
And you feel secure that you are on your property?
Oh,
which is
yeah.
20 feet?
Yeah, most definitely, yeah.
Okay. And you feel that there is enough of at least a 4 to a 6 foot
At least a 4. We had about 6, but at least a 4, yeah. And like I said, you know, driving down that road, you'd have the berm that you'd be following, and then, you know, you'd have 4 feet to drive into if you had to do that. And then, like I said, the chief, originally we were gonna put those, the concrete barriers that they put, but aesthetically and actually cost-wise, it was gonna be way too much money to have those delivered and put in place. And, you know, they were, each one was 3,500 tons, and I needed about 16 of them. And just wasn't gonna be cost-effective. They were gonna be, it was gonna run me around 10 grand just for those. So the other method I went over with the chief was the black metal fence, which is kind of a decorative fence. And then putting up those pylons and paint those black so they kind of blend with the fence.
Okay, is there gonna be a roof over this structure at all? Or
No, there can't be, no.
Totally open?
Yeah, totally open.
Okay.
Totally open structure. And then I believe the plan has the gas fireplace in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah, we want to put the fireplace, which I've already talked to National Grid about that, and there's no issues there either. They had just put a brand new line in for us, so we're just gonna tap off that and bury it right in.
Okay.
You know, this is, if you're not familiar with Embers, this is a dining restaurant. It does have a bar, but we've been closing at 10 every night for food. Sometimes the weekends the bar might stay open till 11, but we try to get them out of there right away. As you know, we own On the Rocks next door, so we're not looking to compete against ourselves, and we're really not looking for another bar down there. That was kind of the reason why we bought this place, is to control who our neighbors are. And we're currently looking at possibly purchasing Captain's Lounge, which is on the other side of On the Rocks, and doing a upscale breakfast place there, so we can kind of contain the whole lakefront and bring it back to the nostalgia that I think some of you remember of people having a good time walking down there and parking their cars and going for walks and stuff. That's what we're looking to do.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. I'm skeptical that you, I was down there, I took a look at it, the patio area, you know, just going back on Al's question, you know, I'm skeptical that you can take those parking spots. I mean, how do you know that it belongs to you, that it belongs to the property and not to the town?
I guess the same way I took On the Rocks when I bought that. I don't know. I mean, it's...
Yeah, but I think when you came before us, because I was part of that, there was a little, I think it was a different scenario. You were asking for outside seating adjacent to your property. So you weren't encroaching on the public domain. Here, I think it's a little different story, and I'd feel more comfortable if we, personally for myself, if we had, you know, resolution to the fact that you could do that. Because I don't think you have, if you only have 8 feet and you're going out 20 feet, you have a 5-foot bump out on your plot plan. So that means you're going out 15 feet. I'm just a little leery, because when I was over there, you know, I saw where you have your, you know, the barriers for the cars so they don't go any forward into the building. If you can address that.
I really can't. I guess the purpose of being here tonight for me is to get outdoor seating, but you guys want to tell me what the restrictions are? Tell me, and I'll open it to the parameters that you want. I'm not here to gain any space or to gain any land or take any land. I'm here to get outdoor seating. I thought I did it originally the way I applied, but they told me I didn't. So if you want to see it stay on the concrete, let's stay on the concrete. We have an 8-foot by 15. I really don't care. I just want outdoor seating for some people. It's, you know, it's nothing I'm looking to, you know, it's not going to...
I think we're not trying to, you know, we're really just trying to make sure that, you know, if you go out and build something and then somebody comes along and says, yeah, he's got no right to be out here.
Yep.
Or something, a car does go through one of those barriers or something. No, so that's why we're trying just to understand it. We're not trying to, you know, say, hey, you're doing something wrong.
Oh, no, I understand.
All we're trying to do is try and understand exactly what you want and, you know, make sure that you have the right to do it, and you're not going to be spending a lot of money and then finding out that somebody's going to come along and say, you got to take that out of here.
Totally understand. And my point was, I'd like to get the outdoor seating going. So if you guys are comfortable with 8 feet, give me 8 feet. And if you guys are okay with that and you want to vote it in, I'll start construction tomorrow to get it going. If it's going to hold it up because you want to go further and check into it, which is fine, Let's cut it down to 8 feet so I can just build the
What
outdoor
is your
seating.
position in that regard, as to where it is or where it isn't?
My position is what?
Pardon?
What do you mean?
Well, he's saying if you should do, do you own the property to where you want to go? That's what the issue you're
That's
in.
basically, yeah, it seems to be that.
So it would seem to me
There
that
would be some legal,
you ought to feel very comfortable that it's, and you're saying, is it the town property or is it his property? Is that what you're recommending?
Yeah, I think it's ambiguous. I mean,
If
we
it's
can't- I can't
ambiguous,
tell whose
why would
property
you
it-
want it to be
whose property it
ambiguous?
is.
I think we need a survey to find out.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's my
And even
point.
that, when they put him a place in, they in the town couldn't agree who owns the waterfront, who owns this, who owns
And
that.
I agree with Paul, we're not gonna get there, so that's my point. I don't wanna tie this up, and I'm not spending any more money on attorneys and everything to figure out what's legally mine, because I don't feel a reason. If you want me to go 8 feet, I'll go 8 feet. Instead of 28 seats, we might have 10, but I really don't care, I just wanna give diners an
That's
opportunity.
8 feet as opposed to how many feet?
20, so it'd be 12 short. You wanna give me, 12 feet, I'll take 12 feet. You wanna just stay with the 8 because you're comfortable with it, go with the 8. I mean,
well, I guess I'd ask the question, what are you comfortable with? That you really feel that you
I
have
go
no
20, I
issue?
mean, I'm comfortable with anything because I don't really see a problem with it with what I'm gonna do, but I understand your point, and I understand where you guys need to be.
Will you ever go for a final determination? Or is it one, do you plan to go for a final determination of what is yours and what's not yours?
No,
A lot of times what you have, and a lot of lake property is like that, is the people own property and they don't really own the property because it was the lake and they moved the land over and they acquired it, but it's not theirs. Is that kind of like the problem that exists there where you have an indeterminable?
I don't know. I can't answer that because I don't know. I just
Well,
bought the
it seems
property
like
the
when
way
you
it
buy
was.
it, you get a deed.
I have a deed, yeah. You should have a copy of the deed, I
And
believe in there.
yeah, and the deed should restrict you to the 8 feet. Is that what we're arriving at?
Well, again, like Paul said earlier,
In other words,
you
if
can't really come to a determination of that. If you want to go to, if we end up going that far and you allow it, I can, have it researched a little bit to find out the exact point that they have my deed now, if it's 8 feet out or, 8 feet's the concrete patio. I don't believe 8 feet is the border of my property. I don't think they put the concrete up to the border. I think it's beyond that. I mean, I don't think that it would be, what did you say, Al? It was 24 feet you thought?
24 that, yeah, and I
I would hesitate to think that it's 16 feet off of the berm to my property is city-owned. I wouldn't think I'd have a 16-foot setback off the road.
Well, the board would have difficulty, I would imagine, based on Al and the other members' thinking, of granting you 20 feet, what you want, when that would be granting it and the board not knowing if it's yours or not. And then, so you come back and you say, well, I'll take the 8 feet. I want to get it done and get the show on the road.
Yeah.
Well, if the board were to grant you what you want, that the board is comfortable with, in other words, we're comfortable with the 8 feet is yours, and there's no reason in the world that after the fact that you went and researched it and acquired it one way or another, then you come back and you just do an add-on. Is that where your brain wants to be, or your mind, or your request?
don't know what he's talking.
Yeah, I think it has to do with this, so I'd like to hear it.
You have something
I'm
to
sorry,
add?
Mr. Chairman, everything I've seen here this evening, it tells me that the front of your building is the property line.
From with the pictures, reading the printed, it just took to my own mind.
Okay.
And just two other things that, had we granted you coming out that far, boy, that's gonna impact snow plowing down there. And then also, someone coming down there's got a snoot full, the next thing you know, they're into your area. since you went from the big concrete things to this metal thing. Did you give any thought to the right side of your building as you're looking at it?
I did originally, that's what Boston.
You put a little
okayed.
retaining wall there, a little patio, set of
Yeah.
steps, and
Yeah,
you're
I
there.
did. We did, Josh and I, to the tune of 35 grand, yeah. we-
Oh,
we like
wow,
that.
right, yeah.
But when you put the money we put into that already down there, it's just tough to justify. It's only a 60-seat restaurant, so it's
Yeah.
like,
No, I understand. I mean, just to my mind, I just couldn't see me personally voting for what you're asking for.
yeah, no, I understand. So,
Yeah, I would say I would have no issue with 8 feet. I mean, you say that you can do that. And I would have no issue, and I don't think any other member would, that if you cleared that, came back and said, okay, I've had a survey, done, whatever, and I do, have the right to this land, this is mine, that you could come back and do that addition to that to get to the 20 feet down the road. So, I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but that's how I feel.
well, to be honest, the original one was okayed by Boston and Lunenburg anyway.
You seem to be satisfied with that conclusion.
Yeah, like I said, I just want outdoor seating. Naturally, like anything, you'd like to see more.
Sure.
But if, I agree with Mr. Gravel, if we go 8 feet, and then I, find out through the deed, and I can come back here and say to you guys after it's built, you know what, I do go 10 feet further, and bring it back to you, that's fine, but I probably won't, 8 feet is gonna give me, 8 feet is gonna give me, let me.
Yeah, will that give you to the far side of your walkway? Would that be 8 feet?
I'll give you
I had the plans done,
So it'd be 8 feet by 30 feet,
8 feet by 30 feet.
240 square feet?
Yep, and it was, because I had the plan done originally,
Okay.
that way.
And if you did downside it, would you still go with the gates and everything else that you're showing here?
Oh, yeah, I definitely gate it. Well, I see that. Yeah, I would definitely gate it if you wanted me to gate it. Mike Savageau, the building commissioner, would rather have not seen gates, but I don't, gates to me, it's another,
He would rather what?
not see the gates. He'd rather see
He'd
it,
rather see it open.
walk freely.
Yeah.
And again, this is tables and chairs. It's not like, how big this is. You went down there and saw.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's not like I'm gonna have, people standing out there drinking. This is for dining. Originally, the plan has a fireplace. Wouldn't be able to do it on the 8 feet because I'm only 8 feet from the building, so that's not gonna work.
Right.
8 feet would just square off the building, essentially, right?
Square off the right side of the building.
Yes.
It would bring the
Yeah.
walkway line down.
So it would take the walkway, still go in front of this? Is that what you're saying? The walkway would continue on in front of this area, so essentially you'd have 8 by 30 porch added on.
Pretty much, exactly, yeah. Which is all already handicap accessible and everything else. So there's no real work to be done here. Boring a few little holes and putting some fencing in, but the length of the building, I believe, is 65 feet, 64 feet. The concrete patio, if you're looking at the building to the left, comes out
4 feet, 4 to 6 feet?
Not even, yeah, something like that, not even, I think it's like 38 inches. If possible, maybe put tables of 2 down that strip. There's not gonna be any umbrellas, you're not gonna need it because the way the sun flows,
From noontime on?
yeah, the walls are too high, so it doesn't get over, so they wouldn't really require any umbrellas or anything. And I wouldn't want to lose the view of the inside of the restaurant. So I guess essentially, if we were going to do it this way and it would work, go 8 feet on the right side where it comes out. It's a straight shot, 64 feet, but on the left side of the building, you're only going to have enough room, for 2 chairs and a table, maybe 4 of them on the way down. So it would seat 8 people on the left side, and I'd probably get another 12 on the right. So probably about 20 people, if that.
I sense that the board doesn't seem to have a negative feeling relative to what you're asking on the front end.
Yeah, and I understand the
And,
board totally what they did. Paul brought it up tonight, I don't know if Whalen ever approved. Emerald Place, did they ever approve?
Right, no, it's never been, no, they couldn't.
So, I know what you're saying, so who's to say really if Where the sprinkler heads on the grass right now is at their land. If a car veers up and hits 5 people that are laying out in the sun on the grass,
If the,
whose
if-
land is it?
if the board were to conclude that the 8-foot, which seems to be a middle ground or a beginning point for you, is the 8 feet is acceptable, that seems to be, you can still achieve the major objective of coming to get the outdoor,
That's all, yeah.
which you can get. If the board were to conclude and in agreement with the 8-foot, then there's a modification of what's in front of the board in terms of documentation. So if the board were to grant something different that's in front of us, that if they granted the special permit, that one of the conditions that would have to come forward would be a modification of the engineered drawing, if you will. Didn't make you go engineering, which is satisfactory. But modification of the drawing has got to be, because that's what we got to approve. We got to approve good documentation relative to the 8 feet. And this would have to be modified. We could modify it, we could vote on it and potentially grant, but put a condition that prior to
Who's adding that?
the conclusion of this, the appropriate drawings would be brought in and amended.
Bringing this line up.
You sound like you already have a drawing.
I do, you know, like I said, this was the
So you-
original one because, this
You
one,
have to go with that, continue on from here.
Unless I have, you know, I'm running out of time for the season. I'd like to see it open for the fall.
Well, that's my point.
Yeah.
In other words, the board can grant, but it'd be conditional, in other words, before it's stamped by the registry, the town clerk, the amended document would become a part of it.
Okay.
And if you've already done the work, there's no further paperwork required. We just add it to it as, if the board can accept the modification at this meeting.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I'd appreciate that if the board could. With
Do you
that
have it
being
with you,
done,
or you can have it? You don't have it there?
I gotta look, I don't wanna,
I think I can make a motion and cover it.
Go ahead.
Could we, just one more comment before we do that, please? As I look, and these plans are a little confusing, but this plan here, everybody got this one here? If you look at it, he owns 4 or 5 feet on the right-hand side from the building to the property line. So I'm assuming that adds to the 30-foot length he wants. So could we just make the motion include from that cutout to the property line? That might give him 34, 36 feet, I don't know, it's hard to tell without,
That looks
you
like
know.
there's a driveway right there, right?
There is a-
Well, there's a little slope like there, it's a grass slope that I recall.
yeah, I'd rather not encroach, I'd rather not go outside of the concrete.
The edge of the building?
Only because there's gonna be like an inch lip, and I'd rather not go through
Oh,
that.
I see, all right.
The chair will accept a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we grant the special permit for outdoor dining area, 8 by 30, retained on the concrete slab that is currently there, but it would also, plus would be the sidewalk, which is approximately another 24 feet, which would be the 54 feet that you were talking about along the front of the building.
Correct.
Which is all the cement that's currently there. And you could put 2 to 4 more little tables along
Yeah.
there if needed.
If needed and if they fit. If they don't fit, I won't do that, but it should fit fine. Like I said, those tables are about 2 feet wide, so.
And I would strike the enclosed with the retaining wall and all of that, unless other board members feel that.
I did, I don't think I understood what you said about the walkway.
Well, the walkway, if you, the building, you have the 30 by 8
Right.
concrete. The walkway extends along that same,
4 feet in front of that.
right, and it goes down the front of the building.
Right.
And that's approximately 24 feet wide. We would like to put a couple of tables, small...
On the walkway?
Single tables along that area, which I don't have a problem with after looking at it.
But nobody really walks along that anyhow, they would just get out of their car.
No, there's not
Go
really,
down the door.
no. The way it's set up now, the main entrance is where this 8-foot area would be.
I don't think Ken is ready to consume with your modification.
I think he perfectly.
100%.
You do under,
Yeah,
you were
and I'd like to
listening.
see, like, it's totally, I don't know if it's your call, like I said, in Mike's discretion too. I can put gates if need be. I just assume leave, if I'm looking at the building, the left side where that 4-foot strip goes, or 3.5-foot strip, that I'm gonna put some tables on, I'll fence in the entire front. But I'm thinking if I leave the left side open, which would be 3 feet wide, and the right side with 2 front doors that, if I left a 36-inch section or 42-inch, whatever ADA compliance is, open, it would be a lot easier for everybody than have these gates that can open anyway.
And so,
Are you proposing serving liquor outside in the whole area?
Yeah.
so that brings me back to my original question where I was skeptical of the walkway in the public way. So I'm looking at the plot plan here that they've provided, and it looks like the property line goes right, I mean, once they come out that 5-foot bump out, it looks like the property line is Lakefront Avenue. So my question again is, okay, you give him his 8-foot and by 30-foot concrete slab that's sitting there, if I'm looking at the building on the right-hand side. But on the left-hand side where you have, I think, what, your 30 feet or 24 feet, you know, it's a public walkway. So, you know, to come in and put your fence up again, I'm not comfortable saying that you can put up something that I don't even know if you own it. I don't feel comfortable with it. And I feel comfortable with the fact that you do, if you have a 5-foot bump out and then maybe 3 feet on that concrete slab, whatever it was, I feel comfortable doing that because there is a little bump out there. But the question remains for me personally is, the walkway, can you do that? You know, can you put up a structure, you know, that benefits you at the expense of public who have a right to pass and repass in front of your property, you know, on the walkway?
Jim, I just want to add into
You're
that.
looking at, compared to what I'm looking at.
So there's a 5-foot bump out right here.
Yeah.
Right there, that's the existing patio that they were talking about, that comes out 8 feet. But now they're proposing that this is a walkway based on what they've put in the plan. So this plan right here. Right?
My concern.
So they have a walkway.
Yeah.
So do they want seating here in addition to seating here? And it comes back to the point where if you had your parking right in front of there, I don't know,
What it appeared to me, it's not a public walkway, it's actually part of the building. In a sense, it's a straight,
Straight shot. It's
Shot,
just the
all the
building
way.
happens, the right side of the building
right,
happens
and
to
the
be
right
set
side of the
back.
building happens to jog in.
Yeah.
Giving you the 8 feet versus the 3.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really, I wouldn't consider it a public walk, there's nobody that would say this. It's a walkway. And it's the only section of that you would call walkway.
On that side of the road.
Section of the side of the road.
but if you look at the plot plan,
See, I don't have
that
that.
plot plan, right where that 5-foot jogs out, that property line goes right down the
Excuse me, I
street.
don't think we have a plot plan.
Right.
It's a drawing. There's no plot plan, there's no...
No stamp.
The only engineered plan we have was dated 1980.
Hasn't changed.
And I don't, I don't doubt that, but we don't have a plan other than the one that was dated 1980.
I mean, I can go
No,
for the
so
expense and get you
I
another
think
one, but it's gonna be the exact
It
same.
comes back to an earlier comment that is, it doesn't preclude you from coming back with an engineered plan that clearly shows these lines and that you own another 12 feet or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's fine, but until we see something like that, I don't feel comfortable in approving something beyond what Al's described in his motion.
But we're all in agreement that don't want that either. I said, just give me the 8 feet. I'm not here to get more of it. If I can prove it later, I will if I need to. If it's
Yeah.
booming and I don't have enough room for people, and then I'll spend the money and have it all redone. But right now, let's see if I can get it booming first. And that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to do by getting the outdoor seating.
So after I've had my.
So this is what, I mean, I understand, I think you should have outside seating out there, I would bring people in. I'm comfortable with the 8 by 30 seating area.
Just a bump out strictly.
Yeah, just a bump out.
But it's actually, like I say, it's a straight shot. It's not, did you go down there?
I did, I took a
But
look
if you
at it.
can remember, it's a straight shot. The sidewalk and the bump out is the same.
So then I'd feel even more comfortable if they were gonna do on the left-hand side where that walkway is, if they didn't put anything permanent on there, because.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they are putting anything permanent, correct? You're just putting a, you know.
Well, he-
Decorative metal fence.
He'd indicated that Mike had asked for a gate there, though, right? Or did I
Mike didn't want,
misunderstand?
he didn't really care to see gates there.
He did not want gates,
Yeah.
okay.
But if you want them, I'll put them. It's not a big deal to me. It's not like you can't, you know, I'm not looking for.
I personally would not want to see them.
No, I wouldn't either.
It makes it a little,
No.
you know, I have outdoor seating at 2 of my other
I mean,
establishments.
I
It's a
think
pain.
I hear what you're saying. I mean, this is a pizza restaurant.
It's a restaurant, you know, it's, you know, I don't want to come here and
Yeah.
you thinking it's going to be a bar room. It's a restaurant, it's a full restaurant, so.
Right, I think the fence has just been to control the alcohol. Like I said, they had no problem with what he presented to them, so. And all the other places that we discussed, we enclosed it because of the serving of alcohol.
I understand Hans's point, but also, if you give me the 8 foot and you don't include that left side, the fence is probably gonna go right to the building. So now that walkway that is there won't even be able to be used, because the 2 exits are only 7 feet apart, and they can shoot out that side, both of them, if I corral it in. So I wouldn't leave it open, because if I had to close it, I'd probably get another table there, if I could close it, rather than have it open.
So an 8 by 30 foot extension would jut out, from what you're saying, a foot onto the walkway,
No.
because,
8 by 30 is gonna be 8 by 30. The fence is going at the very, if this is the concrete, the fence post is going right here. The fence is going flush against the concrete. It's gonna be 8 by 30. It's not gonna be any bigger than that. I'm not gonna encroach on I'm not getting rid of the parking, because I'm not gonna have to now.
but putting tables on the outside, you'd have no control over what's out there if it's not fenced in. And the serving of liquor on the outside, we don't control the liquor license, we don't, you know, that's. a
I wouldn't be
different-
putting any tables anywhere outside the fence. I'm saying if, what Hans is asking for is 8 by 30. So if I get 8 by 30,
You're squaring off the
I'm gonna
building.
square it off, it's gonna go to
Tables
the
would
building. So
only be
now
in
that
the-
walkway is useless, if you call it a walkway. Now, no one's gonna be able to walk on it, because you're gonna have to walk all the way around the fence. Because there's no reason for me to keep it open now, if I'm not gonna have tables going that way.
I don't think you have to fence it off, I mean, you know, you don't have to spare the expense and Mike doesn't want it, I'd say, don't do it, you know?
I just think if I had that extra 24 feet, or,
4 feet,
yeah.
you could have a couple.
I'm just looking at, of getting an extra 6, 4 to 6 tables.
In my mind, looking at it, I see, like a couple other places, they have these little tables where there's 2 people.
Right.
You know, a couple that sit and have a pizza and a beer.
That's it.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
They're 24-inch tables,
Right.
you know? Oh, I can't fit anything else out there, even the 8 feet. It's gonna be tiny. I mean, I have a 6-foot door, I have a 3-foot door. I can't put tables near the doors, so, you know, it's gonna be very, very limited. You know, if you guys all wanna come and eat outside, you're gonna have to come in shifts right now.
Right. Can you summarize some of your thoughts
Yeah,
on
I
the
think we
matter,
could.
Ray?
I did, I
Regarding,
think I had all, I'm in favor of the motion that Al presented. And one of the reasons for that is that if he wants more than what is described in Al's motion, then we should have an engineered drawing stamped by a professional engineer showing what the land is out there.
And I
so
agree with
he-
that. I'm in full agreement with that, because that's really the only way we're
Can
gonna
we
prove it.
reframe your condition, and will that address the issue regarding the walkway to within the
Part of
modification?
my original asking for granting of the special permit for an outdoor seating area included the cement area that we're calling a walkway, which to me is just another cement patio area. It's not really.
It's an extension of the building.
Yeah, an
per se.
extension of the building.
Are we in
But
agreement?
to identify it, we're calling it a walkway.
Are you in agreement with the proposed amendment?
Yep, I'm fine with it.
You're fine with it?
Yep.
Anybody else got any questions regarding where we're gonna go?
I got a different question, but not with that.
Okay. We need to
After a
inject your
second.
question right now before we...
No, you can second it, and then under further discussion, I'll ask my question.
We have a motion and a second.
Do we? Okay, now I get further discussion.
Well, you said you got a...
Can I have any lighting out there?
I have LED lights that are so bright right now that I'm actually having a slight bug problem because they're so bright.
Okay, I mean, just, our concern would be that the light shined onto the road, it'd have to be from that area back towards the building, we wouldn't want to be blinding drivers or anything like that.
You could probably see my patio from Lake Shirley, it's so lit up, there's so many lights out there.
I mean, if it's not something that's gonna blind somebody, if it's just throwing a lot of light.
No, they're soft LEDs, but they're LEDs, they're brighter, they're naturally brighter. There's 2 lights in the 8-foot section that shine over the sign, and then there's 2 lights in the 8-foot section that shine over the door. Then there's another light in the 8-foot section that shines over the other door. And then each 5-foot window has a 5-foot awning with a LED light under it that projects down.
Oh, but they're all going down, that's the, okay.
Extremely well lit, yeah.
That was my other question, Mr. Chairman.
No further questions. If we got a motion out, but the only question I have is a condition upon, if we approve it, that the drawings get to become a part of this document before we bring it to the town clerk.
Mr. Chairman, I don't think
Go
that
ahead.
these drawings need to be updated,
You don't think so? Tell me why.
because he's already been described in the motion that it's only on that concrete.
Right. The area is described in the motion.
The existing concrete area.
Existing and the 8
So you
feet.
think that the verbiage
The 8
in there of what
feet, the 30.
what we're granting is significant enough?
These aren't professional drawings anyway. They're nice drawings, but I'm not criticizing them, but they're not stamped with a professional engineer.
So we
So
try to save $4,000 or $5,000 on the front end.
Which is fine. You don't want people spending.
Okay, so Lisa, are you ready to accept the motion?
You already did.
Could you read it
I just
back,
want,
please?
I just want to be crystal. Alfred Gravel made a motion to grant the special permit for the 8 by 30 area for outdoor seating, but the existing area on the left, we're going to add to that as well. So the additional seating to the left of the doorway along the existing cement walkway, with the condition, and we took that off the table for the modification of the walkway. We didn't put a number on the number of outdoor seats, but I didn't know if you wanted,
No,
okay.
I don't think we need to.
just confine the seating to the existing.
It's gonna be pretty limited.
Right.
And the only thing I would throw out there, I think that in early discussions assembling this is the occupancy is not an issue based on what your occupancy is for the building.
Currently, Mike, I have a 90-person occupancy. The restaurant seats
So
57.
we don't have a problem with loading of
No, not at all.
maximum capacity. I
Not
think
at all. I
we
wish I
we
did,
dealt with
but no, I
that, so
don't.
that needs not to be an issue. Okay. Have you got it down good, Lisa?
I do.
Okay, any further questions? All those in favor of granting the special permit with the conditions outlined, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, hearing none, and we grant it on the basis of the amendment to this document. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So there. Any other further questions? What we do is I got to do some reading.
Yep.
In granting the special permit, the Board of Appeals did assure that the proposed use would not be injurious, dangerous to the public health, or unduly hazardous because of traffic congestion, danger of fire explosion, or other reasons, would not have a material adverse effect on the value of the land and buildings in the neighborhood or on the amenities thereof. It will be operated with reasonable regard to order and sightliness, and will not produce noise, vibration, smoke, dust, odor, heat, glare. We talked about the lights already. Observable for the lot line and amounts clearly detrimental to the normal use of adjacent property. The special authorization is granted with the contingency that the petition comply with all licenses, regulations, statutes, and ordinances of any and all applicable state, local, and federal boards or agencies with jurisdictions. That reflects itself into the fact that you gotta go to the selectmen now and the Alcohol Commission in order to achieve your end goal. Is that correct?
I was already approved when I had my
Pardon?
license.
He already went there.
Yeah.
Oh, you already, you got it in
Backtracking.
hand.
Not on purpose, I wasn't, no one told me when I applied, I knew I wanted outdoor seating.
They
so I
didn't know
put it
what they were doing yet,
Yeah.
huh? Okay, but we're there then. Okay, and granting the special permit shall inure to the benefit of the applicant shall cease in the event that the business is sold or sublet to another party. So if you do sell it, they gotta come back and reinforce the document that is there.
in. Absolutely.
Special permit is subject to periodic review by the permit granting authority, the zoning board, or the enforcing officer to ensure compliance with enumerated conditions. Non-compliance to the conditions may result in the revocation of the permit, and that's there. And the next thing that you need to know is that anybody can appeal the decision of this board to Superior Court within 20 days after we stamp it, so that takes 14 days, and they get 20 days. Any action you take would be at your risk. And the last thing that we need to do is to tell you to record it with the Registry of Deeds. And with that, we wish you well.
We do.
Thank you.
Good luck.
I appreciate it very much, thank you.
Okay.
Good night.
And send that off to the paper mill. Okay. Now, the next order of business is, the board needs to go into executive session to declare, and I do declare that.
Why don't we wait a minute?
Pardon?
Why don't we wait a minute?
I'll say, they'll be out of here before I get, this is going over the air.
I think there's a question. You get,
We're still, this is just to announce we're going in.
Okay.
That's all. We're not discussing anything. You got a question?
This was the original plan that was submitted.
Pardon?
This was the original plan that was submitted, and this is the patio.
Okay.
That's the drawing of the actual patio that you just,
Okay, so you integrate that into the,
you want to just,
We'll make it part of the record.
can you submit it, Lisa?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so the declaration of the chairman is to declare that under General Law, Chapter 38, 21B, that the executive session will be to discuss litigation strategy regarding the action known as Town versus Hollis Hill LLC, Suffolk Superior Court, CA number SUCV 2013-01509. And the discussion is, executive session is necessary to avoid detrimental effects on the litigation positions of the public body in the litigation with the ZBA to return in open session. No, the ZBA will not return after the executive session, so this will terminate the public discussion. So with that, can we terminate, and then we'll get in?
Motion to go into executive.
Pardon?
Do we need to make a motion?
Yes.
yes, we do.
Yeah, we're going to make a motion that, the next thing is a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session For the reason declared by the chairman to discuss a litigation strategy in litigation known as Town versus Hollis Hills LLC, Suffolk Superior Court, CA number SUCV 2013-01509, and with the ZBA to not return to open session.
Okay, we need a roll call vote for ZBA to go into executive session.
Need a second.
Individually, each of us.
Aye.
Second. You have to speak to yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
Everybody agrees, okay. Okay, so with that,
Not yet.
we make the motion
now
to
we are.
consider and vote on the executive session. So with that, I guess we'll terminate the public discussion. Okay. We are now in executive session. Go ahead.